tension today. War games risk stirring up troubled waters as Philippines emboldened by U.S. squares up to Beijing at sea. U.S. Marines joined Filipino counterparts on May 5, 2024, for a mock battle at a telling location, a small, remote territory just 100 miles off the southern tip of the contested island of Taiwan. The combat drill is part of the weeks-long exercise Balikatan that has brought together naval, air and ground forces of the Philippines and the United States, with Australia and France also joining some maneuvers. With a planned maritime strike on May 8 in which a decommissioned ship will be sunk and exercises at repelling an advancing foreign army, the aim is to display a united front against China, which Washington and Manila perceive as a threat to the region. Balikatan is Tagalog for shoulder to shoulder. Joint Philippines-U.S. naval drills have become an annual event, but as an expert in international relations, I believe this year's drills mark an inflection point in the regional politics of the South China Sea. For the first time, warships taking part in the exercise ventured outside the 12-mile boundary that demarcates the territorial waters of the Philippines. This extends military operations into the gray area where the Philippines' exclusive economic zone rubs up against the territory claimed by China and designated by its 9-dash line. Also, for the first time, the U.S. deployed an advanced mobile launcher for medium-range ballistic and cruise missiles of a type that had been banned under the now-defunct Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. In addition, the Philippine Navy is showing off its newest acquisition, a South Korean-built missile frigate. The South China Sea has long been the source of maritime disputes between China, which claims the vast majority of its waters, and nations including Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. In addition, heightened tensions over the status of Taiwan, a territory that the Biden administration has pledged to defend militarily in the event of a Chinese invasion, have made the South China Sea even more strategically important. The latest joint maneuvers come amid two developments that could go some way to influence the future trajectory of tensions in the South China Sea. First, the Philippines has grown increasingly assertive in countering China's claims in the region. And second, the U.S. is increasingly intent on building up regional alliances as part of a strategy to contain China. The Philippines-U.S. alignment is more robust than ever. After a brief interval during the 2016-22 presidency of Rodrigo Duterte, U.S. warships and military aircraft once again operate out of bases in the Philippines. Joint naval patrols resumed in early 2023. At the same time, Manila granted U.S. troops unprecedented access to facilities on the northern Batanes Islands, which have become the focus of current joint operations. Meanwhile, Washington has become more vocal in condemning challenges to the Philippines from China. U.S. officials had carefully avoided promising to protect the far-flung islands, atolls, and reefs claimed by Manila for 7 decades following the signing of the Mutual Defense Treaty with the Philippines in 1951. Only in March 2019 did then-Secretary of State Mike Pompeo assert that the treaty covers all of the geographical area over which the Philippines asserts sovereignty. In February 2023, Presidents Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Joe Biden doubled the number of bases in the Philippines open to the U.S. military. That May, the two leaders affirmed that the Mutual Defense Treaty applies to armed attacks that take place anywhere in the South China Sea. firmer ties to the U.S. have been accompanied by more combative behavior on the part of the Philippines. In May 2023, the Philippines Coast Guard introduced demarcation buoys around Whitsand Reef, the site of an intense confrontation with China's maritime militia a year earlier. Reports circulated 3 months later that Philippine Marines plan to construct permanent outposts in the vicinity of the hotly contested Scarborough Shoal, and a Philippine Coast Guard ship, with the commander of the country's armed forces aboard, approached Scarborough Shoal in November before being forced to retreat by Chinese maritime militia vessels. Then in January 2024, the Philippines broke with its adherence to a prohibition on erecting structures on disputed territory, which was part of the 2002 Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, by installing electronic surveillance equipment on Thitu Island, which sits beyond Scarborough Shoal in the heart of a cluster of disputed formations. This was followed by announced plans to put water desalination plants on Thitu, Nanshan Island, and Second Thomas Shoal, making it possible to maintain permanent garrisons on these isolated outposts.